evening and welcome to our Sunday, the 21st of May 2023 live stream. Another venture into the insane world of mainstream media. Some of the crazy, downright insane, disturbing, offensive things that get reported and we're supposed to take as legitimate. Yeah, tonight's my time to come and explore it. One of the main things I saw and wanted to cover, I made it the title of the show, is the Satanic Temple. You think you know about Satanists, maybe you don't. The BBC have taken it on themselves to promote, and when I say promote, I mean give lots of attention to an event taking place in some part of New York. So we're going to have a look at that story. Greetings to Joker Man, by the way, who is giving me some feedback on my background audio. In fact, I'll turn that off now. Thank you for letting me know. Just looking at the live chat, of course, hello to Joker Man. Thank you ever so much for tuning in the chat. If anyone else is out there wants to leave any suggestions for stories that they've seen and think worth us exploring, then please let us know. Here in the UK, we've had a lot of stuff going on with Philip Schofield, if you're familiar with this guy. Not only Philip, but his family as well. Actually, I am going to just quickly check the audio is playing back. Yep, sounds good my end. And thanks ever so much for the feedback, Joker Man. As always, I do appreciate anyone letting me know if I make any errors tonight. So, yeah, feedback in the live chat is always appreciated. So, yeah, also tonight we're going to do a quiz based on the few weeks ago after the coronation. We did one themed around Prince Charles. Tonight we've got one themed around Prince Edward. I might do that in the second half of the stream. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I think first we're going to have a look at this satanic temple that the BBC thought warranted your attention. Yeah, when I say promote, this is, let me make it readable for you. This is, and I'll also make sure the display is lined up quickly before we go too far. Yep, seems to be looking alright. Yeah, so think you know about Satanists, maybe you don't. Came across this story. It was published 22 hours ago, apparently, in Boston. BBC News have been invited to inside the Little Black Chapel at the Satanic Temple annual convention. What this reminds me of is a story in the second book of Kings about King Jehu, or Yehu, to give it the correct pronunciation. Which I'll no doubt end up relating before we finish reading this story. This may be the world's largest ever gathering of Satanists, and it's about to begin at the Marriott Hotel in Boston. See, why didn't the BBC ever give such attention or promotion to, I gotta say, my channel or any, there's countless other channels out there. How come? Well, yeah, it's no coincidence that the BBC would give these people a voice, give these people a platform, as I do think. What they're going to tell us, I'm guessing, I kind of skimmed this, they're going to tell us that Satan doesn't really exist, like God doesn't really exist. That is their ultimate intention, is to tell you God doesn't exist. A completely 100% satanic argument. Right, a neon sign welcomes you to the Little Black Chapel, which is at the Marriott Hotel, of course. A raised altar stands at one end, a white pentagram on the floor in front of it. I saw an interesting tweet, I believe I liked it, and it said what people believe witchcraft looks like and what it really does. Let me just see if I can find that tweet. Here we go, yeah. Tina M. What people think witchcraft looks like: pentagrams, candles, black mirrors, witches' covens, what it really looks like is the mainstream news. Joe, I'm going to leave a link to that tweet, as I thought it's quite good. Is this just Reuters' version of what a satanic ritual really looks like? Is the Marriott Hotel open to just anyone that wants to come down? Let's see. How proud are these people, to be of the satanic church, I guess you'd call it? How proud are they to belong to the Little Black Chapel? No names, says a Satanist, who agreed to let me witness their ceremony as long as they aren't identified. Imagine being so proud of your God or your way of life that you want to keep yourself secret. Of course, this gives these people a wonderful opportunity to don something which is bordering on the satanic. The way it was forced on people, really like an attack worthy of demonic entities. And here we go, they're wearing their uniform, they're wearing the face mask, something, yeah, I personally flat out refuse to wear ever, and I thank God that so far I've never been, no one's ever made me put one on, due to my faith in him, absolute refusal to put my faith in government advice when I trust in the word of God, and I will not be swayed from that, to the point of donning their uniform. So yeah, as I say, these people are so proud of their belief in upside down crosses. Look at that, the Baphomet, I'm sure that is the goat head we can see on the table there. This, oh no, maybe it's a crown actually, I'm not sure. It looked like the Baphomet. I don't know. It's clear the experience was powerful for them. As a gay child, what? Being told you're an abomination and should be destroyed warped a lot of my thinking. Finding the Satanic Temple has really helped me embrace logic and empathy. What is... Okay, we won't go into the actual reality of what this person's saying here, but it's a bit... It's dark, as far as I'm concerned, to reference yourself as that. But anyway, the Satanic Temple is recognized as a religion by the US government and as ministers and congregations in America, Europe and Australia. More than 830 people snapped up tickets for its late April convention, dubbed Satan Con. So they did one in April, and now they've got another one this month. Well, this weekend, I believe, the BBC are telling us. So this does seem to be the month when the, I don't know how you call it, those that don themselves in the rainbow, in the symbol of God, in God's covenant with humans that he'll no longer deluge us, wrapping themselves in that, they go out and behave as disgraceful as they possibly can. Pride, the very thing the word of God tells us, pride comes before destruction and a hearty spirit before fall. And that is Psalm 21. I'll have to find the actual quote for that, but I'm pretty sure it's Psalm 21:14. Yeah, for many Christians this is serious blasphemy. Okay, they do use the symbol of Satan for rituals when celebrating a wedding or adopting a new name. That might include having an upside down neon cross on your altar while shouting "Hail Satan." For many this is blasphemy. Yeah, 100% it is. What is worse blasphemy is actually, pledging your allegiance to a deity, to a false god, is not as destructive as speaking against the word of, against our actual creator. Hang on. Yeah, a lot of our imagery is inherently blasphemous. Wow, what a thing to be proud of. What if these people one day have to answer for what they do? Greetings, by the way, to Sammy Miles in the live chat. It's really good to see you. It's a new name, actually. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Jokerman says it could be a small gong, and lesser magic is everywhere. Yeah, the magic is certainly playing out. That is for certain. Is this almost like making fun, giving us a very watered down, very TV production friendly version of Satanism, when the reality is, okay, well, how they'll hook people in, of course. Let's go back. We've got folks who wear inverted crosses, and our opening ceremony did have the ripping up of a Bible as a symbol of oppression. The Bible is not in the least bit oppressive. It is liberating, it is expressive, it's the very opposite of oppression, the Word of God. It frees you from this sort of nonsense, of course, especially oppression of LGBTQ. What do you think the Q actually means? I mean, we know lesbian, okay, gay, bi, trans, queer. What exactly is that? Do they mean by that? How far does that particular interest go? Oh, bear with me. Also, BIPOC community, and pretty much anybody who's grown up with religious trauma, which is a tremendous number of our members. The opening ceremony featured pages being torn out of the Bible, which drew the wrath of critics online. Although it's not what we're seeing here. We're seeing $100 bills being poured out. That certainly isn't pages. Perhaps a reference to the amount, organizations such as the Hallelujah Scriptures trying to make money on the distribution of the Word of God. They say they respect everyone's right to choose their faith and are not trying to upset people, but the protesters from many denominations have gathered outside the hotel carrying signs. Repentant and believe the gospel, urges one. Satan rules over the children of pride. And the flag, of course. Yeah, this is the stuff of probably set up by the by the TV cameras. I wouldn't be too surprised. Jokerman says it's the P's you worry about. Exactly. P, Q. Hang on. There's so many letters in there. I forget what's actually in there, but yeah, they certainly. I know what you're saying on that one. There's someone just casually turning up at this event. This is the uniform of the day, like I said, draping himself in the rainbow. What an insult. The event takes up the whole fourth floor of the hotel, filled with androgynous goth chick, flamboyant robes, hand-painted horns, and diabolical tattoos and moustaches. Most people here are old enough to be parents, and several are, with at least one pushchair. Wow. They give presentations, visible Satanism in rural America. Yeah, and of course, political activism is a core part of the temple's identity. It believes that religion and state should be kept apart. Yeah, that's kind of what Jesus taught, actually. Your belief, you shouldn't be part of politics. And they frequently file lawsuits to defend the distinction. So politics and religion shouldn't be involved, but we're going to completely involve it by filing lawsuits constantly. Their point is serious, but they relish bringing satire and outrageousness to the fight. In Oklahoma, they asked to erect an 8-foot satanic statue at the state capitol when a monument of the Ten Commandments were put up, noting that the First Amendment requires all religions to be treated equally. Are they saying there isn't already a satanic statue in where are they saying they wanted it? the state capital. Let's have a look at the state capital of Oklahoma. I'm going to guess there's probably already one of their Oklahoma state capital. I'd be very surprised if they didn't have one of these symbols up somewhere. The obelisk, of course, being what will undoubtedly be within, I don't know how close to this, but there will be obelisks in this city, which of course are a, let's see, Oklahoma obelisk. Okay, I don't know if these are, yeah, so they clearly decked out with objects dedicated to false deities, false gods. I don't know whether they ended up putting up this satanic statue or not. It doesn't go into detail. And of course, the temple also advocates for abortion, arguing that everyone should have autonomy over their own body. Earlier this year, it opened an online clinic based in New Mexico, which provides pills by mail. Wow. That sounds legitimate. Sending drugs out by post. Wow. It's developed an abortion ritual for people terminating their pregnancy. Wow, I wonder what that involves. The word Satan, perhaps, which is designed to be comforting and involves reciting an affirmation before the abortion, and argues its members must be exempt from bans, okay? And of course, Catholics, who are themselves full way short, kind of dispute this. Right, Jokerman says obelisks are all over Manchester, and people have them as their gravestones. I haven't seen too many as a gravestone. I've seen there's plenty in, well, the nearest city to me is Bath, and yeah, they've got at least 3, large-sized ones. Another project drawing headlines is After School Satan Club. Wow. Educating with Satan. And it would rather keep religion out of schools, but wants to counter faith groups coming in to evangelize. So suggesting that the Holy Bible, the Word of God, being taught in schools should be opposed by, let's see what they're using to oppose it. They have a kid's song, My Pal Satan, a bopping animated goat, after the Baphomet, of course, and telling us Satan's not an evil guy. He wants you to learn and question why. Just like he told Adam and Eve in the garden, of course, that you should be free to know the difference between good and bad. Why not eat from the apple? Eat from the fruit, sorry, the tree. Right, yeah, he just wants you to have fun and be yourself. And that is the only message they're giving. And by the way, there is no hell. Right, the word of God, originally, obviously, the word hell is not specifically found in the original text. It would have been yeah, they certainly wouldn't use the word. Hades, of course, would be the ground. I believe, right, apparently there's a YouTube video that the BBC want to share with us, but they have to ask for our permission, and I'm going to pass on watching that video. Now, all these people wearing the uniform, of course, of oppression. They talk about liberating people from oppression, and then wear the very uniform of oppression with their face mask. I expect every single one except one. Look at some of these toys people are trying to sell. Lovely stuff. And of course, there's a book A newly launched children's book titled Goodnight Baphomet drew coos from bystanders. The temple's code prioritizes empathy, control over one's own body, and respect for other people's freedoms, including the freedom to offend. How offensive does it get? Translate that into a kid's book, and it includes rhymes like respect. I'm not reading that, but yeah, this is the. Of course, they mention they show the people pouring money out of the Bible as if it's just a way of separating people from finances, and then they do their best to get people to separate them from their finances by buying books like this, teddy bears like this, completely merchandising their whole outlook on life. Wow. Shallow AF, you could say. Jokerman says, I heard you need to be a Catholic priest before you become a satanic priest. I've not heard that one. This does give us a bit more information about them. She says she first learned through TikTok. Right. Its members boosted from 10,000 in 2019, just before BS19, to 700,000 today. Those gathered in Boston include local government staff, medics, engineers, artists, people in finance, social workers, a therapist, and a circus performer. Many belong to the LGBTQ community, and I'm sure Q is there instead of P. Let's put it, let's see it for what it is. Plenty are married to Christians, or at least non-Satanists. Members tend to lean on the left. Yeah, Satanists and atheists, I guess, are very similar people. They have very similar outlooks on life, or so they would have us believe. Most of the atheists, well, I say most, probably wouldn't necessarily instantly recognize that they're following a satanic outlook on life, but they are. Right. Lucian Greaves, the only person in this article that I see so far that is prepared to identify themselves, is the temple's co-founder. He arrived with a personal security, dressed in black and carrying a thermos. English breakfast tea. I bet it wasn't. I get it from a shop that sells British stuff. Breakfast tea, of course, is from India, I believe, so it's not exactly English. Greaves, a pseudonym, so not even his real name, actually. What do you think Greaves is a pseudonym of, though? I mean, okay. I was thinking... Not a pseudonym. Right. Yeah. He started a movement a decade ago with a friend, Malcolm Jerry, also a pseudonym. They shared a commitment to freedom, opposing what they see as Christianity encroaching on legislation. So they start to put their own legislation in. Gotcha. More merchandise on sale, of course. People are hesitant to take anything we say at face value, but I feel everything we say is pretty straightforward and we're not misrepresenting ourselves. If you're trying not to look like trolls, was it wise to name your abortion clinic Samuel Alito's mom's satanic abortion clinic? I don't know who this is, Samuel Alito, but apparently the Supreme Court judge backed the decision to remove the right to abortion, okay, and then put it on a t-shirt. A lot of publicity. The BBC are giving this these people's products, by the way. Hardly impartial news. Right. And then it goes on into politics. Oh, we're talking about the gunman. Let's see. In 2016, a family member leaked her details and a gunman turned up at her home. These are rights campaigners, I think. The gunman said, this is what I'm here to do. I have a gun with her name on it. So they had to change their name, of course. Getty, by the way, own a lot of these, a lot of the copyrights to these images. Okay. I never found my friends being accepted in the Christian circles. The appeal of Satan is that he is the accepting one, the inclusive one, no, oppressive one, and someone I can identify with. Although I don't believe he actually exists. Wow, how pathetic are these people, putting their belief in someone they won't even openly admit to believing in. Absolutely disgraceful. The second book of Kings, chapter 10, tells us of, hang on, can we make this a bit more readable? Let's see. Right, Jehu was the, right, yeah, early in the succession of kings of Israel, it eventually fell on Jehu, and he followed up someone called Ahab, whose wife was Jezebel or Isabel, and she ended up turning all Israel into worshipping Baal, and Baal, make no mistake, is Satan, comes absolutely from the same area. Let's see. They meet Jehonadab, son of Rechab. This is more of the Israeli, the royalty of the Israelites. Let's see. When he came to Samaria, he struck down everyone belonging to Ahab. This was the previous king, who remained there until he had destroyed them, according to what the Yahweh had spoken to the prophet Elijah. He then brought the people together and told them, Ahab, the previous king, had served Baal a little bit, but Jehu himself will serve him a great degree in comparison. Let's see, where are we? And he proclaims a solemn assembly for Baal, which is probably very reminiscent of what the BBC are promoting on their website. Yeah, and they told all the servants of Baal to come to this particular assembly, that King Jehu, telling everyone he was a massive, deep worshipper of Baal, only to hire, I think he hired 80 men, made burnt offerings, and then told the guards to go in and kill all of them, and told them that anyone that let one go would have their life taken in exchange. Yeah, so they threw out all the bodies, brought out the sacred pillar in the temple of Baal and burnt it. Yes, and that always reminds me, just if you're ever invited to a party for Baal, make sure you kind of keep well away from it, would be my advice. Right, yes, another subject we're going to look at this evening before we go on to our Prince Andrew quiz will be Philip Schofield. Right, his brother, I can't remember, was his name Kevin? I could be wrong. Let's have a look. Kevin Schofield. Nope. Obviously not. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, of course, his brother was sentenced, I think in the last week, to 12 years in prison for a particular series of offences, including abusing a teenage boy he groomed. Now, Philip Schofield and his brother, I'm pretty sure they set up a charity together. I think we're gonna have a quick look at this. Charity. By all accounts, he met his partner through this charity set up. I'm not sure. Yeah, apparently a lot of it came out when he came out as being gay. Here we go. I don't know if this will tell us much about it. Okay, kidney research and at-risk disadvantaged youths, children, education, health. Causes supported. They're not given a particular name though, I don't think. Yeah, they tell us kidney research, Prince's Trust. I'm not sure. Greetings, by the way, to Guidance Code, who mentions Timothy. Oh, that was the name of Philip's brother, was it? Let's see. I would be interested to find... I'm sure there were images of... Let's see. Philip Schofield partner. Of course, when Philip Schofield came out and revealed that he had been in a relationship with a man, everyone was massively supportive. Even his own wife was like over the top supportive of him. That's surely not meant to be, is it? Okay, I'm not sure if it's X or what, but I'm sure there were originally pictures of him meeting this kid at the charity. That's it. I don't want to click on the very first link because I don't imagine it would give us... Yeah, it tells us how he met his wife, of course, but not about the partner. Okay. And now, very suddenly, apparently the headline I saw was with immediate effect, Philip Schofield has left This Morning, which is a TV programme he's been presenting here in the UK for apparently 20 years or something. Every so often they've mentioned that he's left or he's been shut down for a tweet or something, doing something a bit wrong. That's surely not him, is it? Wow. He's about half his age, surely. Okay, the blog has been removed. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, we'll have a look at the reason for him suddenly quitting. Firm Britain labels him iconic. I wonder if some of these celebrities, I don't know, whether they might regret associating themselves with him, you could say. Okay. Yeah, apparently they had to call crisis meeting after Holly... Oh, they're both leaving by the looks of it. We'll see. Perhaps, yeah, apparently this is all big news at the moment that Philip Schofield has quit. Who did I see? Someone sent me a link to quite an interesting video on this, actually. I can't remember who it was. I can't maybe try and find a link to it as a suggestion for anyone who wants to see a decent look at it. I tell you what, I'll find it and then we'll start our quiz in a minute actually. But I will first of all suggest this channel as a place to look up Philip, as it were. Hang on 1 second. Okay, yeah, we will. Okay, we'll probably start our quiz in a minute, actually. That'll be the next part. But yeah, first I want to just let me find this link. Let me see. Okay, yeah, we will be coming up to an intermission after the quiz, I think. What are we playing? Yeah, what we're playing is our intermission this evening. It is the last hours of Arnold Beltram, an old video I did back in March 2018. Okay, yeah, the channel is Sean Atwood. Jokerman, I believe it might have been you that sent me this link originally. I'm pretty sure it probably was. So, yeah, we'll have a look at that one. Yeah, this is... Oh, okay.
Down for
Sean
a decent
Atwood's channel. I've never particularly
police cars.
watched this gentleman's channel, so you'll have to make of it what you will. But yeah, he's done a fairly good, you know, looks like a few good videos on this occurrence. So I'm going to put a link to his channel in the chat for anyone to glance at it. Yeah, for a much better in-depth look at the Philip Schofield story than I'm gonna give it tonight. Okay, hang on. I'll put it in the live chat in a minute. Sean Atwood. Yeah, I've seen him before, but I've never watched much of his stuff. But that particular video looks like he has put, he's done some good he's done a good presentation on that particular one. Okay, so tonight's quiz. Is there enough people? Okay, hopefully there'll be enough people to take part in it, but it doesn't particularly matter. We're not really doing it to name a winner, but yeah, it will be our Prince Edward quiz. Now, how well do you know Prince Edward? This is based on a video I came across that again was being promoted on the mainstream media, so don't expect anything too out of the ordinary to find anything out about this guy. But the video was called Facts You Probably Don't Know About Prince Andrew. So based on this video, hang on, let me start it up a minute. Where are we? Right, I'll put the audio down a minute. Actually, we don't really need audio at all. Okay, apparently the royal family has been... I will, of course, put a link to... Hang on. I will, of course, put a link to this one. Apparently while the royals are getting lots of widespread attention, people like Edward aren't getting so much, I think is the point of this video. So a bit of their chance to tell us a bit of info about him. Question 1 based on this video will be, hang on, Right, does anyone know Prince Edward's full name? I know we've had some people take part in these quizzes over the years. This was a, what I guess you'd call a pop quiz, because I didn't even name the stream after it, which I would normally have done. But yeah, just 5 quick questions, see if anyone can get it based on the video we're watching. Okay, if anyone wants to take a stab, I'll start by saying hello to Sherry Anderson from Canada. I appreciate your insight on your channel. Sherry, that's much appreciated to hear you say that. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying the stream if you haven't watched one before. Yeah, it will be going on for about another 45 minutes, and we probably might have a short intermission, like a quick 5 minutes where I can just, yeah, fill up my drink, for example. But first, we're going to take part in this, yeah. Prince Edward's first name. I do have to go back to this view to see the chat. Joker Man, no clue. Not a problem. It's that I wouldn't actually expect anyone to know this guy's first name, because it is what you would call an absolute mouthful. Hang on, what's on this? No, that's not it. Okay, we're now on this one. So, no clue. Okay, we'll go back. That's alright. I could keep people... No, I'm not going to keep people guessing, because we won't get to watch it otherwise. Okay, let's find out then. I think we'll have to wait for about 25 seconds of this video until we find out his full name. It's one heck of a mouthful though, I will tell you that. Here are some unknown facts about him. What are you expecting? How many names do you think this person has? 4? 3? Most people have first name, middle name, surname. 4th name, 5th name maybe? 6 names? How many do you think this guy's got? Let's keep watching and find out. So important is this man that he had to be called Edward, Anthony, Richard, Lewis, Mountbatten, Windsor. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names. How over the top ridiculous is that? Wait till you hear his title though. You think 6 names is something? You should see the title this guy has given himself. I believe, or at least they want to give it to him. Okay, he's 13th in line of succession to the throne. I could have put that as one of the questions I get. But anyway, yeah, the full name is Edward Anthony Richard Lewis Mountbatten Windsor. If anyone ever asks you that, that's a bit of info. Okay, question 2. Right, hang on. Question 2. Is Prince Edward an Earl or a Duke? Put in the chat if you want to answer it. E or D, I guess. Earl, Duke. What do you think he is? Not a big deal, of course. Oh, Jokerman asks, what are the meanings of the names? I guess I could... I don't actually know what the meaning of Edward is. But I guess could be worth looking at. Of course, Mountbatten, wasn't that somebody that... Didn't that name come from one of his uncles, I believe, who... against whom there was some kind of accusations. Okay, yeah, just as well I didn't promote this quiz, because I guess it's not the greatest. Jokerman says he's an Earl. You know what, you won the last quiz, Jokerman. Of course, this is the sort of thing people could look up on the internet, very easy. So let's go back to our video. What does it tell us? This guy, he is... I'm sure it'll come up in a minute. I didn't watch very, it's like a 3-minute video, so there isn't too much. Edward is an Earl rather than a Duke. Royal tradition is that the prince receives a dukedom upon marriage, but Edward, after seeing Shakespeare in Love, wanted to be an Earl while we watched the film. Okay, so that's it. Yep, well done, Jokerman. With absolutely no help from... I'm sure you very likely knew that anyway, so here's another one. What do you think? Has Prince Edward ever worked with children? It's a simple yes or no answer. Why would it matter that a person whose family members have had close ties with the likes of, you know them all. I don't need to list them out. We all know that those that are among these people, I don't know. Also, their own children. Yeah, another video I saw very much like this one was the same thing, like unknown facts about Eugene, his daughter, or Eugenie, whatever. But she is an out there one. Joker man, the only one to answer tonight. You hope not. Let's see. Let's watch the film. Has he ever... does he work with children? This one might come up a little bit further on, actually. Okay. He was... okay. Yeah, they're going to go on about him being an earl. He was the first prince since the Tudors. His mother wants him to be the Duke of Edinburgh. Insiders are hinting that it might not happen. Wow. What things to fall out about what my title will be. You can make up any name you want. Just, by the way, in this picture, I don't know if you notice, if I move these two, Philip has something of a black eye there. Okay, so to answer question 3, is he going to work with children? On that note, Edward was gifted the Earl of Forfar in Scotland, okay, on his mum's 55th birthday. So his mum had a birthday, so she gave him another title. I believe each birthday, that's the kind of gifts they get. Okay, because he's an earl, his children are not prince or princess. They're just children of an earl. Viscount Severn, and they show him no doubt by the River Severn. Okay, we're getting there in a minute. We will find out. Has Prince... Okay, well, Prince Edward is not... Sorry, he is a full-time royal after he joined the Marines and worked as a television producer. Edward took over many of his father's responsibilities after Philip announced his retirement. What else did he get up to, do you think? Let's see. We'll get there in a minute. Like many graduates looking for a break, he took a gap year. Okay, what other interesting things can they tell us? In 1982, after completing his A-levels, Edward took work as a house tutor in Whanganui, New Zealand. So he's a tutor, and we see him in a classroom. And the next bit of information will tell us he taught English and history at collegiate school. Those students were lucky to get a royal tutor. I'm guessing they probably weren't that lucky. So has he ever worked with children? Yes, I'm afraid he was a tutor in English and history at a school. So, funny coincidence. But yes, he was. Okay, question 4. What did Edward want to be when he was young? Any guesses as what he hoped? I was going to do multiple choice for this. What was the questions? Alright, you can do A, B or C. It's not like we've got a huge amount of people taking part, but... Okay, did he A, want to be an actor? B, an astronaut? Or C, did he want to be the king? Or if you don't think any of those are right, yeah, you may have heard a different version. But according to this video, Edward wanted to be one of those 3 things: an actor, an astronaut, or the king. Which are more likely, would you say? An actor, well, who knows? Jokerman says king. I don't think I'm going to get too many more people answering, so we'll carry on and have a look. Let's see what's interesting about this kid. Oh, hang on. Where are we? When Edward was only 5 years old, he met astronaut Neil Armstrong, who was the first man on the moon, of course, and told him that he wanted to be an astronaut when he grew up. So had you guessed B, an astronaut, you would have been correct. That was what he wanted to be. Oh, fact checker says an astronaut. I'm sure you got it in just before I revealed, so well done, fact checker. I know, of course, there's a bit of a delay as well. So were we awarding points? I certainly would have given them to you. Okay, let's see if you know the next question then. Final one. What have we had so far? What was Prince Edward's full name? I've forgotten it already. It was a heck of a long one. He's got 6 different names. Is he an earl or a duke? Edward is an earl. I do like to make this stream as educational as possible. Has he ever worked with children? Yes, of course he has. He was a tutor. What did he want to be when he was young? An astronaut. Question 5. Can't even remember what this one was, actually. Okay. Why was Edward's acceptance into Cambridge University controversial? Any idea why, when Edward was accepted by the very high-profile Cambridge University, why was it controversial? I'll give you a few minutes to guess. See if fact checker can get this one as well. I'll give you both a couple of minutes, as we've got a couple of people taking part in it. Yes, of course, we will jump on so you can see the live chat. Actually, we can see fact checker got astronaut correct. Hang on. I believe if I can bring the whole chat up here, as this is a part of it. Hang on, let's go through it. Nope, not going to be able to go through it. Okay, so the answers come in. Fact checker official says because he's thick as pig shit. That could possibly be it. Jokerman says didn't make the grade. Okay. What about because he expected everyone to clean up after him? Okay, we'll go back to the quiz. Thank you for your answers. Let's go back to the film. I think I'll have to turn all these off or you won't actually be able to see it. Why was it controversial? Oh, yeah, that one as well. Okay, when he was born... Oh, I was also... One question was going to be, what's his date of birth? It's the 10th of March, 1964. He was the only baby to which Philip was supposedly in attendance for. Okay, Edward caused a bit of controversy when he was accepted to Jesus College, Cambridge, after getting a C and 2 D's grades at A-level. So yeah, well done. Well, both of you got it, actually. Jokerman says he didn't make the grades, which is technically the right answer. But yeah, fact checker summed it up pretty well by saying he was thick as shit. Maybe that's a bit harsh. I did hear apparently Prince Harry, there was a very similar story with him, how a teacher came out and claimed that she had to take all of, like, on Harry's exam papers, they pressured the person grading it to give him high results and give him enough marks to get him into whatever college it was, but he shouldn't have gone there at all. I don't know if I can find that. Give us a minute and I'll see if I can find that particular article. After which, yeah, that was the 5th and final question. Hang on, I can leave you playing this while I just have a quick look for this link if you want. Yeah, well done both. Well done both Fact Checker and Joker Man for taking part. Let's see. Prince Harry teacher grades. Yeah, apparently he needed particular grades to get into military school. Here we go. Here's something from The Guardian. So bear in mind this is still mainstream. It's still official rubbish, as it were. Right, we'll jump over to this one, where we'll have a look at this particular article. I believe the person that made the claim got discredited or something along those lines. Prince Harry, a weak student who has helped to cheat an exam, says an ex-teacher. Former teachers of Prince Harry at Eton College helped him cheat in his A-level art course because he was such a weak student, a tribunal heard yesterday. Former teachers of Harry at Eton College helped him to cheat in the A-level art because he was such a student. Yeah, okay, we've heard that. They allegedly prepared explanatory text to go with images by Harry, while a second helped the prince insert lines into his project. The head of art at Eton also allegedly completed work for Harry, which was later published in newspapers around the world. As the prince began army officer training at Sandhurst, one of his teachers, Sarah Forsyth, was claiming that his art exam result was flawed. She told him that, so she obviously lost her job for speaking out against this. She told an employment tribunal where she is claiming unfair dismissal that the evening before a moderator was due at the school to look at the work, she was asked by the head of art, Ian Burke, to prepare text to go with some of Harry's work for his expressive project. So basically make it... Yeah, she was profoundly shocked. I was concerned that this was unethical and probably constituted cheating. Yeah, too right, it constituted cheating. But this woman ended up losing her job over it, so make of that what you will. No pictures to go with it. Okay, I think we are going to take a quick break, and then when we come back to the stream, we've got a couple more stories we're going to look at tonight, but I am going to have to take 5 minutes. I want to thank Fact Checker, Joker Man, Sherry and Guidance Code for taking the time to comment in the chat tonight. Also Sammy Miles, who was in earlier. Hope you're still tuned in and enjoying it if you are. Okay, we're going to be back in, I think this is about 6 or 7 minutes, this video. So yeah, sorry, I do need to take a break. Otherwise, the stream will start going to pot, as it were. Okay, what's this video I'm going to leave you with in the meantime? It is The Last Hours of Arnold Beltram. This was back in March 2018. Must be a very old video because I've got my old logo in it. And yeah, it was about a police officer, supposedly. I think you'll have to watch it for yourself. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll be back with you in 8 minutes. Oh, before we do start this video, actually, I will, of course, invite anyone that's tuned in tonight that likes what they're watching. If you want to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe and share if you haven't already. That's always appreciated. Huge compliment. Yeah, you can also support me on patreon.com/BZLive, where Linda Mack and Joker Man, otherwise known as Midnight Scribbler, do support me. Also want to thank Nathan Oakley and Skeptic936 for their support and help with the channel. So yeah, of course, links in the description to any tweets or any videos that we've looked at tonight. For example, the video about Prince Andrew, if you want to see that for yourself, there will be a link in tonight's description. Okay, here's the video. I'll be back with you shortly. Okay. Alright, thanks for tuning in so far. I'll see you in about 7 minutes. Hey everyone, I recently came across this story. France terror attack. Hero policeman married hours before he died. This references an event that happened in a supermarket in Carcassonne. I guess I'm pronouncing that correctly. Whenever you hear about a terror attack, you can always guarantee there's going to be some really bizarre stories, and this one absolutely fits the bill. Lieutenant Colonel Arnaud Beltrame, who has been praised by President Macron, was planning to marry his partner in June. Okay, the story goes, a police officer who took the place of a hostage during a terror attack at a French supermarket married his partner while on his deathbed. Lieutenant Colonel Arnaud Beltrame voluntarily swapped himself for a female store worker during Friday's siege. The 44-year-old died in hospital from his injuries after being shot 3 times by radical Islamist Redouane Lagtim in Trèbes, southwest France. A mass was held paying tribute to the victims of the attack. It has emerged that hours before his death, Lieutenant Beltrame married his partner Marielle in a ceremony at a hospital in Carcassonne. According to the reports, the couple had been planning a church wedding in June after they met during a tour of an abbey in France in 2016. Father Jean-Baptiste said the couple had spent some 30 hours preparing for their marriage ceremony. He said, "I gave him the sacrament of marriage and the sacrament of the sick." Ladkim, 25, was shot dead by police after Lieutenant Colonel Beltrame left his mobile phone on so colleagues could hear what was happening inside the supermarket. A national tribute is to take place at a later date for Lieutenant Colonel Beltrame, who President Emmanuel Macron said had died a hero and deserved the respect and the admiration of the whole nation. The officer's brother, Cedric, said he had given his life for strangers and knew he had almost no chance of surviving. He did not hesitate 1 second, Mr. Beltrame told RTL Radio. He did what needed to be done, and thanks to him, many lives were saved. And yes, I think the word hero is very appropriate. The officer's mother, who was not been named, said she was not surprised by her son's action, saying, "He's always been like that." Does that sound familiar, Martin Het? Anyway, let's stick to the story. It's someone, since he was born, who gives everything for his homeland. Mr. Macron said of Lieutenant Colonel Beltrame, in giving his life to end the deadly plan of a jihadi terrorist, he fell as a hero. Prime Minister Theresa May said she was saddened by the officer's death, adding, his sacrifice and courage will never be forgotten. Britain's ambassador to France, Ed Llewellyn, also paid tribute, saying Beltrame gave his life to save the lives of others and was truly a hero. Samia Manassa, the manager of the supermarket targeted in the attack, said her colleague who was swapped Lieutenant Colonel Beltrame during the siege was in a catastrophic state. This is the manager of the supermarket here. Beltrame, who joined France's elite police special forces in 2003 and served in Iraq in 2005, military again, had reportedly organised a training session last December to prepare for hostage situations. What a weird coincidence, man. Mr. Macron said investigators will focus on establishing how Morocco-born Lagtim obtained his weapon and how he became radicalised. Ladkim was known to police for petty crimes and drug dealing and had been on a watch list from 2014, according to France's prosecutor, Francis Mollins, but he was not believed to be preparing any terrorist act. Islamic State has claimed the atrocity was in response to its call to target Western enemies. Lagtim hijacked a car in the city of Carcassonne, seriously wounding the driver and killing the passenger before driving towards Trèbes. He shot at police officers before hiding in a supermarket, taking several people hostage. During the standoff with police, Lagtim demanded the release of Salah Abdeslam, the only surviving member of the Islamic State cell that attacked Paris in 2015. Lagtim killed 2 people before giving up most of the hostages, keeping 1 woman as a human shield, who Lieutenant Colonel Beltrame traded places with. Police have detained a 17-year-old boy who was allegedly a friend of Lagtim in connection with the terror attack. Another woman who was also allegedly connected to the attack was taken into custody. In my previous videos, I've done a hoax event checklist, where if you want to determine how fake an event is, you just do this, go through this list. Right, ISIS claim responsibility, check. Victims were named within 24 hours. What day did this happen? Friday. And this was a couple of days later, not quite 24 hours. Amateur walkthrough footage used, but not in this news story. civilians doing paramedics, injured people. GoFundMe Just Giving pages set up for victims and their families. Let's take a look, shall we? Just Giving. What a surprise. Oh, that's not very much. I haven't raised a lot there. We're raising 10,000 to donate to the family of Lieutenant Colonel Arnold Beltram. I'm sure there's more than just that. 170, oh, they're not doing very well. Okay, this story was actually from the following day, and they had indeed named Arnold Beltram. They say he's 45 in this one. Go back to the Sky News story, and they list him as being 44. As we'll go back to our checklist in a minute, you'll see why that number is kind of important. Okay, we'll go back to our list. Bereaved loved ones appearing on television looking very happy. Well, we haven't seen that yet. Receives over-the-top news coverage in France, I think it has, but not so much here in the UK. People going missing. Right, strange use of numbers. 11, 22, 33, etc. That includes 44. If we go back to this picture, 422. Now, some people are a lot better at the whole numerology than I am. I'm sure they could find 33s, stuff like that all over the place. Well, let's see what this news story is talking about. How long is it?
In France, and French officials are praising the heroic actions of a police officer who was badly injured. Officials say the policeman offered to switch places with a hostage at a supermarket in the town of Trèbes and stay with the armed suspect. He also managed to leave his cell phone on, establishing contact with officers outside of the market. Well, after hearing gunfire, French forces stormed the market, killing the gunman. The Islamic State group has claimed responsibility for the shooting.
Quite a lot of our checklist we can tick off on this. But for me, the most bizarre thing is, this is a guy who was supposedly fighting for his life. You assume he was conscious because he was able to take part in a wedding ceremony. 30 hours they spent, it tells us. Father Jean-Baptiste has spent some 30 hours preparing for their marriage ceremony. That's 30 hours they could have spent saving his life. But rather than that, they decided to fuss around getting married. It doesn't make sense for someone who's fighting for their life to then say, look, forget whatever they do, blood transfusions, getting the bullet out, putting me under anaesthetic or into an induced coma. Let's just do a wedding ceremony. It doesn't make sense. And as always, grainy, terrible pictures of the people involved. Something very odd about this one. Another thing that always happens in these attacks, they arrest the family members. Now that is quite bizarre. The perpetrator, or alleged perpetrator, was known to the police. Police have detained a 17-year-old boy who was a friend of him. Another woman who was also allegedly connected to the attack was taken into custody on Friday. In another story I read, Lakdim's mother was brought in to try and reason with him. And it looks like, I'm assuming that's the woman they're talking about. After she didn't have any luck, they arrested her. And like I say, load of the usual. Anyway, give us your thoughts. Thank you ever so much. Hey everyone, I recently came across this story. Okay, welcome back to the stream, the second part of the show. I see Nathan's in the live chat, mentioning my crackling on the line. I'm guessing I've got my phone probably too near the microphone then. Apologies, I do use that to monitor the chat. Yeah, if you just tuned in, hopefully it wasn't affecting us through the rest of the stream. You've so far missed the quiz, actually, the Prince Andrew quiz, where we found out a few interesting details about the guy. He's worked with children, he shouldn't have been allowed into college. Also, his mouth. If when he writes his name, he must need like 3 sheets of paper, because the guy is, well, who knows? And he gets a new title every birthday as well, it would seem. Yeah, we also looked at the Church of Satan and how the BBC gave a lot of promotion to a ritual going on in Boston this weekend. What other stories have we got to cover tonight? Let's see. Apparently, this isn't exact. Oh, by the way, the video we watched of the quiz came from. Let's see, where was it? It was Things You Don't Know About Prince Edward. It was on Dailymotion, who, by the way, look like they've kind of updated their website. It was always a real pain with adverts cropping up every 2 seconds. I am going to share a link to this video if anyone wants to see it for themselves. On the subject of the royal family, did you know, apparently, just like their mother, Princess Diana, Harry and Meghan were involved in some sort of car crash a couple of weeks ago. Where's that one gone? Hang on. I got too much open. That wasn't it. Okay. By the way, I do hope the crackling sound's been improved. Nathan says it was on the recording on the intermission, no problem. Glad it sounds better. I do try and keep my phone away, yeah, but until your generous contribution of the microphone, Nathan, sound on my streams was pretty terrible. I think they improved a little bit in probably middle of 2020 or sorry 2021. But yeah, and then once I got your Yeti, it certainly sounded a lot better. Yeah, Prince Harry in a car crash. Should anyone come? Not car crash, car chase with the paparazzi. I find it very unlikely that Prince Charles and Harry and Meghan actually run away from the press. They are completely dominated by them, of course. I'm not sure what this video is going to be about, but Harry is offering more insight into the 2-hour ordeal. Let's see. That transpired between the Sussexes and photographers in New York this week. The Duchess's mother, Doria, was leaving the foundation of the Women's Vision Awards gala, the sort of places you will see Harry and Meghan, by the way, on Tuesday night when, according to a couple of spokespersons, now bear in mind, they want as many photographers and press reporting on these sorts of events, these galas, because of course it does raise promotion. It's all publicity for the charities that they, probably through which a lot of their friends probably hide a lot of dosh. But there was a near catastrophic car chase. Can you even see this? Apologies if not. Let me improve the size of it. This is the best image we get, of course. Terrible photo quality, as it always is, of these two. Yeah, aggressive paparazzi. I find that hard to believe. It lasted 2 hours, and it was nearly involved a collision. Harry privately told friends that the experience was the closest I've ever felt to understanding here we go. A great opportunity to bring up his mother and their version of events in 1997. It's the closest he's ever felt to understanding what happened in the 1997 car crash that killed his mother. Yeah, I would be... There's a lot of alternatives about what happened in 1997 in the car crash. Personally, don't believe any of them. Some of them say... I didn't know this story that the seatbelts were removed from her car and that the ambulance didn't take her to hospital. Do you know what I think a much more logical explanation for it was? Just played out for the cameras. I would say, we'll have a look actually at the footage of Diana's crash before we finish up tonight, as I don't think we're going to see much the same sort of images we get in this. He's previously spoken about parallels, yep, about the press intrusion, but every single press report will mention either his book, one of the charities or foundations he's involved with, and will just completely publicise these people. So I find it very hard to believe that Harry would run away from them, unless the people playing, or sorry, unless Harry, these people have some, some major secret they want to hide, that they can only put out very, what's the word? Very sterile images of themselves, like pre-approved images. And of course they want us to believe that when it isn't presented by, I don't know the organisation that create all Harry and Meghan, Archwell, that's it. When Archwell aren't responsible, then this is the sort of image quality we get, apparently. Photographer must have forgot to put the flash on this occasion. Right. I'm sure they're going to mention the book. My deepest fear is history repeating itself, he said in 2019. I've seen what happens when someone I love is comatized to the point that they're no longer treated or seen as a real person. What? Is he on about his mum when he says this? I lost my mother and now I watch my wife falling victim to the same powerful forces. Which one is he on about as being comatose? Because I don't think he ever saw his mum in that state. He can't possibly be talking about his mum. She wasn't in a coma, that as far as I know. She died on the night of it happening. In the bombshell interview with Oprah Winfrey, Harry made a similar comment about Diana and Meghan. What I see was it repeating itself. Of course, if Meghan was to, God forbid, Meghan was to pass away, then she would, or just like Diana was seen in a very similar light to Meghan Markle is now, very unpopular just before her death, and then once she died they completely rewrote the script and she became the Princess of Hearts or something, I think they called her. And we were all told what a magical angel we lost, someone that campaigned for, was it bear traps? No, it was landmines, of course. She belonged to a family whose job it was to sell weapons such as landmines. So, not sure what's going on there. Through different accounts, those different accounts have emerged about the incident, the New York Police Department confirmed it helped assist the royals after the gala and that there were numerous photographers that made their transport challenging. In an interview with the New York Times, Archwell spokesperson, these are the people that present every image you see of Harry and Meghan, disputed suggestions that it was manufactured for publicity. Well, who even mentioned that? Who suggested it was manufactured for publicity? Yeah, of course it was. Respectfully considering the Duke's family history, one would have to think nothing of the couple or anyone associated with them to believe this is any sort of PR stunt. Do you know what? I am someone that believe nothing of the couple or anyone associated with them. PR stunt, I'm not sure if that's the right word, but certainly manufactured. Definitely. Wouldn't doubt that for a second. Manufactured for publicity. That is the perfect choice of words for this particular story. But it's abhorrent. Let's see, just having a quick look at the chat. Nathan doesn't trust Harry because he's ginger. Do you know what? That looks such a wig that, in my opinion, that's a hairpiece he's wearing. Nathan says, best headline ever. New evidence reveals Diana alive before dying in tunnel accident. Surely not. I can't believe that was ever a genuine headline. Shall we see what we can find about... Hang on, wasn't there a video? I don't know. Diana car crash. Let's see if anything gives itself away. Or symbolism, like, I don't know, lost shoes or... certainly very empty tunnel. Also, you would assume this car ended up going into the wall for it to get such damage on its left-hand side, unless it hit one of these pillars. Well, I'd want to see the pillar after this car had smashed into it in such a way. As you can see, there is not one scratch on the wall here. I'll just take a close-up. Right. If this car smashed into this wall, I believe... Okay, yeah, I mean, even the curbway doesn't appear to have a scratch on it. No dent in the wall or anything. No damage caused by that at all. So, I would say this is probably in the same way as Harry and Meghan's. Manufactured for publicity. How did the exhaust pipe end up falling off, but the rest of the back be absolutely okay? Yeah, so apparently that was an actual headline in the Sun or the Mail. Okay. Yeah, very strange. Very odd. Not another car, or is this supposed to be on the night that she left? Okay, and everyone perfectly named. Certainly a lot of civilians all gathering around this. What, I don't know if it would be a crime scene or if it would be something for... yeah, you know, scene of crime investigators to look at, but there's a lot of people in civilian clothes all around this car. I don't know if there's any videos of it. Who knows? Paris crush. I know it was... Okay, where's the best footage of it?
At the tunnel by the Pont d'Alma, Parisians and tourists alike came in droves. Some came simply to stare, but most came in a sort of spontaneous pilgrimage to the road where Princess Diana's car crashed and killed her. They leave behind flowers and small, touching individual expressions of pain and loss. It was here just after midnight that a Saturday night out in the City of Lights turned to tragedy. The precise details are still sketchy, but the Mercedes 600 carrying the princess, her Egyptian companion Dodi El Fayed, a driver and a bodyguard emerged from the tunnel, a complete crumpled
This photographer just happened to be perfectly placed to film the car being
wreck.
taken away on the back.
Circumstantial evidence at least that the driver lost
Okay, whatever caused this impact didn't cause one single dent to the concrete
control
wall around
while
it.
driving at very high speed.
I find that hard
According
to
to
believe.
some reports, at over 100 miles an hour as he sought to escape from several paparazzi.
I don't know if we to
Photographers
look
who
at the number
specialise
plate on some of these
in following
bikes, what they would
celebrities,
give us
and
in the
who on this
numerology
occasion were chasing the
calendar.
couple on motorbikes. The bikes were impounded and 7 photographers were taken into custody for questioning by the Paris police.
Let's see. Yeah, lots of people just standing around.
Cut the princess.
SAMU 93. Is it worth trying the numerology calculator? Let's see. SAMU 93. Is that right? SAMU 93. It's a... Oh, there's a dash. I don't think that counts for anything, but it's a 26 or a 21. And I do remember that night very well. Of course, there's a lot of people that would suggest that Diana certainly is not as she appears. But yeah, everything changed the night in terms of people's outlook of Diana. Jokerman says, have you ever heard about her not dying and becoming Elton's husband? Absolutely I have. What's that guy's name? I can't even think of it now. Elton John husband. Oh, David Furnish, that was it. Apparently he was at David Furnish, Diana's funeral. Let's see. I know they had some... Yeah, I can't remember what channel it was that showed this image. But they did point out how photoshopped... Okay, this is meant to be Diana and David Furnish together. Yeah, supposedly I have heard it suggested that yeah, could well be one and the same. Again, another image of them together. How terrible do these images look? Is this meant to be Sting? I believe so. Or one of those gosh awful musicians. Jokerman says, was it a head-on crash? That car's front was hit head-on. Yeah, and the front left tyre was absolutely smashed in pieces. The only way it could be head-on was if it went into another, or into the back of a car. But yeah, that's yeah, I'm pretty sure okay, maybe it was that they were at a funeral together, but yeah, there was, I can't remember the channel who originally I heard make this claim about David Furnish and Diana being one and the same, so I wish I could give credit if anyone knows who originally suggested that. It is one I could certainly... I can see where people are coming from, if you get my drift. I mean, they're different. This guy looks like he's sort of... he's got the typical messed up ears that they've always got. Unhuman ears. Just like Diana no doubt has as well. And yeah. Another one. Yeah, that is the suggestion. I don't see a striking similarity. I mean, okay, yeah, I suppose you could overlay the two faces. Perhaps that's one for another episode, because we are rapidly reaching the end of tonight's stream. Actually, I do find after 11:30 p.m. my ability to stream, yeah, drastically decreases. So I will start wrapping up in a minute. Yeah, joking out. I don't actually know the official. I'm sure Wikipedia could tell us what we want to know, couldn't it? We'll have a last quick look at the official narrative. Yeah, I think it was the 27th of August. Yeah, it was right in front of me. Sorry, 31st of August. I do remember it was August 97. Whether it will tell us. Events preceding. Yeah, I'm sure they got a very detailed breakdown of every second. Paul lost control of the car at the entrance to the underpass, and it struck a passing white Fiat. How on earth did that pass a white Fiat on it with barriers in the middle of it? It swerved to the left of the two-lane carriageway and collided head-on with a 13th pillar that supported the roof. It was travelling 65 miles an hour, more than twice the speed limit. It spun, hit the stone wall of the tunnel, even though the wall didn't have any damage on it at all, and finally came to a stop. It caused substantial damage, particularly to the front half of the vehicle. There was no guardrail to prevent it, and witnesses arriving shortly after reported smoke. Okay, no explosion then. No smell of burning rubber, just smoke. Witnesses also reported that photographers and motorcycles swarmed the Mercedes sedan before it entered the tunnel. Yeah, that is the story. So it hit a car coming the other way, which is very strange when you look at the actual road. It's clearly got these barriers up. I don't know, perhaps it could swerve into the other lane, but doesn't quite seem right to me. Okay. Was there much that we didn't cover tonight? I don't think so. I hope we... Yeah, I hope those of you that tuned in tonight enjoyed the stream. When are we supposed to be back? As always, I do a stream on Tuesdays, but I haven't done one for probably about 2 or 3 weeks now. Although I do plan, hopefully, to get back to doing that. Before we go, I want to thank Jokerman, Nathan Oakley, Guidance Code, Fact Checker Official, and Sherry Anderson, and Sammy Miles for taking the time to comment in the chat. If anyone wants to say hello before we go, you've got about 2 minutes, and then we'll be we're playing out with a video. It only goes on for a couple of minutes, so we will soon be ending the stream. Yeah, as well as thanking you guys who tuned in tonight, especially in the live chat, I also want to show my thanks and appreciation to Linda Mack and Midnight Scribbler, otherwise known as Jokerman, for supporting me on Patreon. Also thanks to Nathan Oakley, who's in the chat, and Skeptic936 for their support with making this stream better. Thank you. Okay, we will be back, maybe Tuesday. If not Tuesday, I always do Thursday at 8 PM, so hopefully you can tune in then. Right, I'm going to leave you with a video. Oh, also, of course, there's a QR code on the screen now about my Patreon. If anyone wants to click the link in the description, I would much appreciate it. As I would appreciate those taking the time to hit the thumbs up button and sharing this on social media. If I haven't already said that, I don't know, it's getting late. I'm probably starting to repeat myself now, so I am going to have to finish up. As I said, I'm going to leave you with a video. It is Never Trust, the stand-up comedian. I bought this out in April 2019. I hope you enjoy it. After this, we'll be ending the stream. Thanks, Jokerman. God bless everyone indeed. Okay, thank you for tuning in. And thanks also to you guys taking part in tonight's quiz. I'll try and do them more often. I used to do them more in the past, but this was a pop quiz, I guess. More kind of actual general knowledge about the guy. I like to try and be educational, even if I'm teaching you a complete load of rubbish about Prince Edward. Okay, as always, thank you for watching tonight, and I'll see you Thursday, if not before. Okay, good night, over and out. This world of mind control through the mainstream media, the stand-up comedian plays an important role